What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching episode 8 of House of the Dragon. Before I get into this video, just a reminder that my reaction to this episode, along with the others, is going to be under my YouTube memberships. If you are not a member, I've got two options over there. Level 1, that's going to be for $2.99, and you're going to get special polls for me, priority replies, and you're going to get live streams with me. That's going to hopefully begin soon. Level 2 is for $4.99. You're going to get everything that level 1 has, plus you're going to get all of my reactions to all of my shows, including this one, Dragon Ball, Naruto, She-Hulk, and anything else I may watch, any movies, and all of my uncut Try Not to Laughs. Alright, so this episode was pretty darn intense. So this episode, of course, we see that the kids and everyone are a lot older. I'm kind of not liking it only because I get confused as to whose kids what. Like now I kind of know, but when they first did like the whole 10-year difference, I didn't know whose kid was whose, and I kind of wish that they kind of kept some of the same. I mean, I don't know. Rhaenyra, I feel like when she first started, she looked a little too young, but they could have kept her a little longer, I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But, man, I gotta tell you, they have done such a great job at aging the king. I am so blown away by how good of a job they have aged him. Like, they continue to use him, but they are aging him so well, and him being sick and having all these open wounds and stuff in his body. And now in this episode, we really see that he's like on his way out. Like, his teeth are bad, like half his face is missing. His nails are dark. He's extra pale. He barely has no hair. He's skinny. It like every single time I see that they age him, I'm like, wow. And the guy that is playing this role, he is really doing a great job at playing the king. But everyone else, all the adults are still the same. The children are older. So this episode starts with, what is his name? The Valerian father. He's missing. Something happened to him. He's missing. So now they're all petitioning to see who's, like, the king isn't even dead yet. And they're all petitioning on who's going to be next heir of the throne, who's going to be the next king. When all that stuff was already said and done, they're basically like trying to get ahead of the game before the king, and they know that the king's on his way out. But they're all like the Valerians and, the king, Rhaenyra. Excuse me, y'all. So they're all going at it. Rhaenyra's pregnant. At first, it threw me off. Because the last episode, so much happened. I forgot that she married Damien. I forgot that she got, that the little cousin got cut in his eye. Like, I forgot all these things. But it kind of started to dawn on me when I saw the older one and his scar on his face. And then I saw her two boys. And, she's pregnant. And she's got from what I think they're twins. She's got two babies. But yeah, so they end up leaving where they live to go see her father. And she's starting to feel the stress and burden of being named an heir of the throne. Because it just seems like it just divided everybody and there's so much pressure now. But at one point she begs the king, like, look, then fight for me if this is what you want me to do, because this is too much of a heavy burden. So at one point they finally set up a meeting to have all these petitions heard. And all of a sudden, to everybody's surprise, the king shows up. And nobody thinks he's going to show up because he's on his deathbed. Like, he's frail, like extremely frail. So I was just like, oh shoot, you saw everybody's faces. They were all nervous. They didn't know what was going to happen. So he got up there and he basically was like, oh, and at one point we see that he was kind of barely making it up to the throne, and his brother Damon came to help him. And this is the first time that I feel like he's being emotional. Um, I feel like it really bothered him in this episode to see his brother this way. I don't feel that that was a malicious thing. Like at first I was like, is he trying to get in his good graces, or is he really bothered by seeing his brother this way? And over the course of the episode, I feel like he was just really bothered seeing his brother, on his way out like that. But, so the king got up there and basically was like, why are we petitioning something that was already set? Like, what's the problem? So his cousin, the one that's married to the Valerian, she gets up there and she basically has Rhaenyra's back and has her son named the next king, I believe. And all of a sudden, the brother of the father Valerian, he's just like going off because he was like, that is my brother. I should be the next one in line. And she's like, well, my son, this was all written up because I was married to the, what's his name? The Valerian, which they didn't touch on in this episode. I guess it was meant to be that way. The Valerian that she was married to, they pretended like he died in that fire, but he escaped. So I guess he's just gone at this point. But yeah, so she went up there, she had her bag, and he was going off. Like the Valerian brother, the brother of the Valerian father. I forget their names. I can't keep up. There's so many. So he's going off. He's basically saying, like, you are not going to tell me how my house is going to be ran. And, he turns to Rhaenyra and he's talking about their sons. And all of a sudden, he calls them bastards and he calls her a whore. And the king gets up and takes out his knife and he's like, you will have your tongue cut for that. And all of a sudden, you see his head just sliced off. You guys have got to see my reaction to that. His head gets completely sliced off. And who does it? Damien. I'm just like, I was just not expecting that. And then he looks at him at the ground and like half his head is off, but the tongue is still attached. And he looks down and he's like, he can keep his tongue. Like, he had no problem killing him right then and there. And it was just so wild to see that. So then at another point, you see they're like preparing his body and it looked really crazy. And the king's cousin, who's married to, the Valerian father, she's just standing there emotionless because she knew that, he didn't care for her. They didn't care for each other. So that was wild. So then the king had what I felt was like a final wish before he died. He wanted to have dinner with all of his family. And they made that happen and he had dinner with them and he had a mask on. So when we first saw him, he had like bandages over his face. Then when he came into the meeting, he had like this half gold mask. So at this dinner, they bring him in the chair because, he's so frail. He can't even walk. He's in pain all the time. So he's basically letting them know, like, look, I'm so glad that I see you guys all together here. We got to let our differences to the side. He takes off his mask and you see his eye is missing. Half his face is missing. They did an amazing job with the makeup and everything on him. I was just like, oh my gosh, like that was crazy. So everybody's kind of making amends and they're talking amongst each other, and then he starts getting into pain again, so they take him away. But now that he's gone, the siblings start getting into a fight and they're, talking junk to each other and everything. And before the king leaves, Rhaenyra, you know, thanks the queen for being there for her father and caring for him and everything. And it seems as though they kind of made amends. And I'm like, well, they were best friends at one point, you know. So, but after that, you know, everything starts to kind of dwindle away. So we see now that the king is laying in the bed and the queen comes in and oh, and there was another part where the queen's son, the one that's always drunk, he apparently did something to one of the worker girls or whatever, and that had to be handled with the magic tea and whatever the case may be. I found that to be so crazy that she was like, you can't tell nobody, drink this tea just in case. Gave her money, and I guess she's gone. Like, she paid her off and she gave her this tea to make sure that she wasn't pregnant. Like, it was so wild. I was just like, damn, that's crazy. But anyway, so at the end of the episode, we see that the king is talking to the queen, and she's giving him his tea, and he's just like, you know, do you remember when he recalled a moment with the prince and everything, and then he says to her, it's you. You have to do this. You have to do this. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but she seems to be concerned, but she seems to look like she kind of doesn't want to do it, but she understands that she has to do what she has to do, whatever that is. I didn't quite get that part. Um, and then we kind of see him, like, his tear falls, and I think at this point, and then you see it like kind of fades to black, and he's like, my love, or something like that. At this point, I think he's now gone. So this is very interesting because I think Rhaenyra left. So I don't know how this is gonna go. For the next episode, obviously, I feel like maybe we're gonna see that the king has died, Rhaenyra's back. There might be some beef now that he's gone as to who's gonna take the throne, even though it's all written. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like tensions are still gonna be high, but we'll have to see what happens in the next episode. We'll see. But I really like this one. I really, really did. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you enjoyed episode 8 of House of the Dragon. If you enjoyed my review, let me know as well. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles!